The governor of West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey, joins us now with an update on those recovery efforts. Governor, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes here with us on Fox Weather. This was devastating flooding. Where do things stand in the recovery?
Well, we appreciate it. I know that our first responders, our National Guard, our law enforcement, our Department of Highways have been working very closely with local officials to try to move toward the recovery phase of this operation. This rain really almost came out of nowhere. We had a massive dump of rain in a very short period of time. They think that there was one stretch where it was 4.5 inches of rain over a 37-minute period.
Wow.
And as many people who know the terrain of West Virginia can appreciate, there's really no place for that water to go. So Mother Nature did some real damage to our state.
Yeah, I mean, that's a horrific set of meteorological circumstances. Part of what makes West Virginia a beautiful state, but we know it also makes it vulnerable to flash flooding.
That's right.
Anywhere is going to flood when you're talking about rain rates like you just described. The aerial pictures, we saw the scale of this, and listening to some of your remarks, you were very concerned about the potential loss of life. Has there been any updates with that? I know there were 2 people that were unaccounted for.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we are able now to confirm the 2 fatalities. And so we'll leave it at that because we want to make sure that the appropriate procedures are followed. But this obviously has been devastating, and we have to make sure that not only are we looking toward recovery to make sure we're rebuilding, but of course, everything that those families are going through who are suffering or have loved ones who passed. That's the top of mind for so many people right here in our state.
Certainly, that's an awful update. We saw, mentioning the scale of this, this was homes and businesses. Buchanan and Upshur counties were very badly hit. Some of the communications being knocked offline for a period of time. What does the path forward look like for some of these places? How long do you think this recovery process will take in some of these affected communities?
Well, as many people watching know, these storms kind of have a cycle in the sense that you have the immediacy of the Mother Nature hit, and then you have to engage in search and rescue. And then when you pass that phase, you really move to a recovery stage, which is going to involve cleaning all the debris, making sure all the roads are cleared, the power is restored, the water is restored. So we're still going through, the linemen are doing a great job getting a lot of the power restored. There's a lot of work to get the water lines back. There's obviously water being shipped to the area. So there's a lot going on. Weston was hard hit. Obviously, Buchanan was hard hit. And we want to make sure that those areas are getting the basics in place. Then that's when you're also able to do the damage assessments for individual homes, businesses, and communities. And we've been working closely with FEMA and others to make that assessment. But by all accounts, the water levels in these areas really went up at some of the highest levels ever recorded. And so what we have to do now is make sure that we're gathering all the information, we're submitting it in, and we're making sure that we can get our people back in their homes and return to life to normalcy as soon as possible. That'll take some time, but the state's going to step up and be with those people and those communities.
The state's stepping up as you have. Unfortunately, we're coming off of 2025, which was a year that featured all kinds of severe weather in your state, Governor. You had floods and a major winter storm back in February. This is just this summer. We had another instance of some terrible flooding back in June. What's it been like for your teams, some of the local agencies, too, that have been stretched over this rough period over the last year plus?
Well, I want to thank everyone involved, whether it's our highway workers, the people at the utilities who are stepping up to clear the lines and get them hooked up again, our National Guard, our internal team, the first responders. I can tell people there were over 100 water rescues that occurred the first day, and we sent some of the birds up in the air. There were 10 birds up there. There were 10 drones up there, and that actually really helped a lot of the street-by-street approach to identify whether people were trapped in a particular area, whether we could need to send a water rescue boat. So there's a lot that's involved in this, but I can tell you that I'm always keeping faith for the people of the state of West Virginia because they remain so strong during times like this. And I think the support that people give the affected communities is unmatched anywhere you'll see across the country.
Yeah, please send our thanks. I mean, you're talking about a triple-digit number of rescues. This was, I said, a stunning thing that occurred, and we're wishing you the best as portions of your state recover from this. That's the governor of West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey. Thanks for taking a few minutes with us on Fox Weather.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.